Hey everybody, Goosebumps fuck. I messed up real bad. But you know what? Nobody's perfect. In fact, I make about 1,000 attempts for the intro when I make a video. You know what else is not also perfect? Goosebumps. Goosebumps has a lot of duds in there. And even some of the all-time best stories have, issues. Because they're not all really well made. They were made very quickly, almost rushed back in the day, and even the new ones have a lot of flaws, even if they've been, sitting for a long time in Stine's computer waiting to be put out. Yeah, Goosebumps is not a perfect franchise by any means. It has a lot of flawed stories, but what about some of the stories that got super close to actually reaching the impossible goal? Because I'm making it clear, there's no such thing as perfect Goosebumps stories. Virtually. Almost. Basically. As close as you're gonna get perfect Goosebumps stories. I will be pointing out their flaws, though. But some of them, I really don't have anything to say, but I'm sure there could be a better version out there. There's just always going to be a better version of something out there, even if I have no issues with it. And before we dive in, leave your own perfect Goosebumps stories down below, or what you perceive as almost quite close, as close as you're going to get to perfect down below. And yeah, let's just dig in with the most obvious one to show up on this list. This is notoriously the most well-liked and respected Goosebumps story in the franchise, and is Stine's favorite. We all know it. We all likely love it. The Haunted Mask. It's very much a classic at this rate, and is virtually just perfect. There's not really any huge issues with it, even if it could be probably better somehow, or have maybe a cooler element. But for what it is, really nothing to complain about. It's just a great Halloween story with a great moral. Next up, welcome to Dead House. This is the first Goosebumps story, and again, one of the most respected Goosebumps stories in the franchise. By the way, I'm going to keep this list interesting. It's not just OG series. But again, Welcome to Dead House is basically a perfect Goosebumps story, aside from my one issue with it, and that is pacing. I think it's a bit rougher in the first half, and I think some things could have been shortened, quickened. But no less, I think it is really just a genuinely great Goosebumps story that had, no issues with it almost at all, aside from the one I mentioned. It really is just one of the all-time best for a reason. It's scary, it's fun, and it's just a great read. Now for our cover pick, we have I Am Your Evil Twin. This is one of my all-time favorite Goosebumps stories, personally. I absolutely love this one. And this is the perfect Goosebumps story to me. Now, it's not my favorite. It's barely even scratching top 10, to be fair. There's things that can move above it. But, yes, top 10 of all time. To be frank, it's literally it's that good. I have utterly no issues with it, but when it comes to Goosebumps stories that are 10 out of 10s, or even perfect, it really just depends on how much I like it. Because at that rate, I have nothing to rate it off, or base it off when it comes to issues, so it's just do I prefer over this or that? That's basically how it works when it comes to these basically flawless ones. And this is, again, the most perfect Goosebumps story to me. I have utterly no issues with this one. There could be improvements, maybe to the final bit of it. That's, the most commonly disliked part. I personally found no problem with it. I thought it was really good. But, yeah, this is basically just the perfect Goosebumps story. There's nothing wrong with it in my eyes, but it could probably be improved. Oh my god, it's hot. Next up, a shocker on Shock Street. Now, I know, okay? Shocker on Shock Street's not the most liked book. It's already a hot take in itself. Y'all know this. I love Shocker on Shock Street. I think what it tries to do is perfectly done. As close as you can get, obviously. It probably could have been somehow better, as I keep mentioning. But Shock Street really just tries to be a fun book. It's unapologetically so. There's a real lack of a plot, and that's fine. It's kind of plotless and supposed to be a roller coaster ride of fun. Scary fun, of course. And I think it utterly achieves at that while throwing in a really clever, dark twist that, whilst isn't genius, it's just it really fits the book. But yeah, Shock Street is basically perfect. And now to really spice it up, no more OG series and Series 1000. Let's throw in a tale from book 4. Now, this is a weird take, and it's probably the least popular take in the video, let alone it's a very unpopular story, but Goblin's Glare. Now, this is another gimmick story like Shock Street, where it's really thriving on one particular factor, and that's all it's trying to do. And this one is a gimmick, a literal gimmick, and that is the characters having recurring dreams about a goblin throughout the entire short story. And it basically just ends with him realizing, getting it told directly to him, well, let's just say it's a huge recontextualization that really worked. It's a whole gimmick story, and I think the gimmick really, really worked. And with its page count being really short, nothing got really old, I'd say. I think it really worked just because it was so short, or else it would have been really annoying. And the gimmick was just spot on, exactly what it tried to do, and really fun. This is virtually like the perfect short story, and I'd argue it's top 5 at least. And finally, for a modern, which I know they're not as liked, there's some great moderns out there. But maybe you won't agree with this one, because this is not a very loved book, apparently. This one's actually relatively mixed. There's some people who love it, like me, but some people don't like it at all. And that is Nightmare on Clown Street. It really tries at a lot of things, and I think everything landed really well. Nothing inherently awful, and there's some particular complaints I hear about the Frightener, the villain of the book, and I don't have the same complaints. I think the Frightener really worked for what he was, and I thought he was a great villain. I absolutely loved him. And another complaint that I think I've heard before is how it's kind of boring in the first 2/3 of it. No, at least in my opinion, of course. This is all personal. I really had none of those issues, and I really, really liked all the things it tried to do, especially in the notorious-ish final third of the book, where it really, shit started hitting the wall. And to close off this video, we have another OG series. Again, a hot take, but not as hot as the last one. Let's Get Invisible. Now, this story is really basic, as fucking long as it is. It's 140-something pages. It's the thickest, longest OG series in the OG series. Yeah. If I had to point out any issues, which I know, I love this book, I've already said this before, it's probably pacing and length. I don't really have any problems with that, too. But if I really had to say anything, it could have been shorter and maybe a little quicker, with how it was going about things. Because it is a very repetitive story. The thing is, this story is going for one thing only. A slow deterioration, slow burn kind of journey, where they are slowly, very slowly, being taken by this mirror. And it all builds up to something great, whilst being extremely dreadful and melancholic in its mood and tone and description, as well as having a very nice undertone of addiction. So yeah, Let's Get Invisible, really fun read if you're for it. And that's basically where it lands with me. I was for it personally, and I can see why people aren't, just because of the slow burnness, and if they're into the concept alone, which I really was. I love mirror horror, clearly, because some of my favorite Goosebumps stories, and because horror stories in general are mirror associated. And yeah, that is my list for perfect Goosebumps stories. There's more out there that are damn near perfect, and probably almost have no room for improvement, but no less, nothing's perfect. This video is not perfect. I'm sweating like a hog. It's a hot summer evening. And yeah, I just hope you guys enjoyed this video, and leave your own thoughts down below on what are perfect Goosebumps stories, and I'll see you guys in the next one.